Hi, welcome to Unplugged with Eraldo and Darren. We have a great show for you today. We'll be covering lots of trending topics that are making the headlines.
So let's get started. Joining us is actor Curtis Cook from Showtime's hit show, The Chi. Curtis has also recently appeared on the NBC show Manifest and FX's acclaimed show Mayans MC.
Curtis, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Oh, I'm happy to be here.
I got so many questions for you, but let's start with The Chi.
Okay.
Not the Kai, what other people, it took me a little bit.
Right.
Tell us a little about your role on The Chi and, about the show in general.
Oh my God, The Chi is an amazing show, and I'm not just saying that because I'm in it.
Feels biased, but okay.
Just a little bit, but not really.
Right.
It's originally, it's created by Lena Waithe,
Yep.
the amazing, incredible Lena Waithe, and I joined the company in the second season, which we just finished airing the 10th episode a couple of weeks back, and I played Duda. And Duda is introduced as this major businessman in the south side of Chicago who maybe has some nefarious dealings, but he is a businessman nonetheless, and he gets into a lot of interesting dilemmas.
Would you describe him as a good guy?
See, people ask me that all the time because
Well, I gotta know.
Well, I say good and bad is based on your perception.
Right, how you
I'm
perceive,
helping
right?
somebody.
That's right.
And 9 times out of 10 is myself.
Okay.
But
All right, Curtis Cook looking at Duda. Do you think he's a good guy from Curtis Cook's perspective?
I'll say this. I was talking to my daughter, my second oldest child, and she said to me, Isis, and she said, "Why does Dad keep saying?" She was talking to my wife. "Why does Dad keep saying that Duda's a good guy? Why does he keep saying that?" And she's like, "Your father has to do that. He's playing him, so he's trying to find the good in him." So take
Wow.
that for what it is.
So, Curtis, I understand you brought us a clip for us.
I sure did.
All right,
Awesome.
we're going to roll that clip and give our audience a little bit of taste of what Duda
Okay.
is all about.
Judge
right?
for ourselves here.
Trice met with a tragic end. You saw an opportunity and you took it. Can't be mad at that.
What about Q?
He got permission from the old man to come back to reconcile some personal business. And of course, he let his emotions cloud his judgment, stole some merchandise that was in your possession that belonged to the company. Killed a cop. That's a violation. Q was held accountable, Q is gone. But let's talk about your role in all this. Trice was a lot of things, but he always brought us our paper on time.
I didn't mean no disrespect, Duda.
Congratulations on this blessing. You're accountable now.
Oh, shit.
All right, that was an awesome clip. I'm shaking in my boots. I
I'm
don't know
still
about you.
50-50 on if he's a good guy or not. I think I need to watch the rest of the season play
And
out.
that's a really
Wow.
nice clip to bring too as well, because that's
Yeah.
when Duda is introduced to everybody.
Right.
So that whole scene when he's meeting Reg for the first time and telling him that, you know what, you haven't paid our money on time and you haven't done what you're supposed to be doing on time, and therefore there are consequences for that. So I really like that scene because it's
So
really
The
powerful.
Chi is focused on the south side of Chicago, correct?
That's correct.
And the uniqueness about the show is that it actually depicts the true scene in the south side of Chicago, which is something that I don't think any viewers or audience have had the inside scoop. So tell us a little bit about how it was shooting on the south side of Chicago, because I understand that's where it was
But
shot.
yeah, Ayanna Floyd Davis was a showrunner at the time. She wanted to make sure that we depicted the South Side as honestly as possible. Because I think in the first season, they didn't use the South Side as much as they should have or wanted to or were able to. And it's beautiful because the South Side, Chicago itself, as well as the South Side, becomes a character in itself in the
Right.
piece.
Right.
And you get to see people living their normal lives day to day. I mean, I often compare it to, I'm a little older than a lot of the other cast members, and I grew up with like Good Times, which was based in the South Side. It was a comedy. But when that show first came out, it was just talking about real people's plights and real people's problems and what they had to deal with. And this show does the same thing. It is not a comedy, but it tells you, you know what? We are here, we are living, these are our day-to-day. It's kind of kitchen sink drama, but it also has, I'm not gonna knock it down. It is entertainment. It's there to entertain us and keep us excited, but it's showing us, you know what? Everybody is basically the same. If you get to see an inside of in our lives, you're like, oh, this is really good because I know these people. That's my aunt, that's my cousin, that's my
Right.
little nephew. And it just makes us, as we all are, all one.
It's
you
like
know what I mean?
art imitating life a little bit. It's
Most
very, very
definitely.
real.
Most
You were also in Mayans MC and Manifest. Do you want to be part of a motorcycle gang? And can you fly on a plane ever again, Curtis? These are my questions for
Can
you.
you imagine people who watch Manifest while I was doing that, and myself walking through the to the turnstile, and they're looking at me, and they're like, "No, don't get on this plane. You do not get on this plane with us."
I would not want to sit next to you, even in first class, on a flight.
Right.
That's
Oh,
all
my
I want to
Lord.
say. Tell us about your roles in both of those shows.
Oh my God! I'll start with Mayans because Kurt Sutter, of course, who created Mayans and Son of Anarchy.
Love that show.
Oh my God! And then
So good.
an amazing genius in his own right. I got brought into that show to play the head of the CIA kind of agency
Yeah.
that was investigating the bikers. So I didn't get to ride a motorcycle. And if they would have asked me, I would have been like, "Yes, I can ride."
Of course.
Crash.
course.
How much time do I have to learn?
home
I need to
learn it.
right, try to do the Matrix. Hey, Susan, I need a Harley, that Harley Davidson 1972 immediately.
Okay.
That's
Okay,
right.
I'm ready.
That's right.
So I didn't get to ride, but the character, it almost kind of the same as the Shy. When I got to that set, it was so beautiful to see all these people of Latino descent and Mexican descent all together and behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, and working together. It was so cool. Unfortunately, I had never seen that in that capacity,
Right.
that large of a group of people doing incredible work, and the scripts themselves were direct, and I got to be kind of a badass boss, you know what I mean? Straight to the
Yeah.
point, efficient, and which also translated over into the Shy. I got to see, I got there and I got to see all of people of brown, dark, people of color working behind the scenes. Well, you don't get to see that often, you know what I mean? It's unfortunate,
right.
but that's how the business was a few years back, and seeing these strong women coming in directing these amazing episodes, and seeing these gay and lesbian and LGBTQ community, everybody working together and everybody chilling and getting along. I was
Right.
like, this is what theater and this is what
Art is
movie
about.
art is about. And it seems so dumb that it wasn't like that before this had happened.
Right.
But it is happening, and I applaud both of those things. Mayans was amazing. We shot it in California. It was hot as hell because we were in the desert. And so we would be out there, and sometimes it would literally be like 112 degrees, like it was in New York not too long ago.
Yeah, no, I know
And we'd be out there
that.
trying to shoot a scene, and I'm a sweater. So
Oh,
if I don't have a jacket, all of a sudden you see these huge pits behind me. I'm like, okay, cut. Curtis needs a new shirt. Please get Curtis a new shirt. So I would have like 3 different shirts of the same outfit sitting around. But the scripts were amazing, and what we were able to do in that first season of Mayans. I think they're about to come back pretty soon.
Yes.
Second season. What we were able to do was amazing. Now, Manifest, which was on NBC, was amazing for a lot of reasons, but one of the main reasons was because I got to work with my son, my oldest child, Curtis Jr. in that. He played my
Right.
son on Manifest. And when I tell you guys how every time I talk about this, I get a little choked up about
Yeah,
it
I can
because,
tell.
he was there when the career wasn't flourishing the way that it is now.
Right.
So we had some pretty rough times, some pretty dark times. And when he said he wanted to be an actor, that father instinct in me was kind of like, you sure, dude? You
Yeah.
sure?"
Yeah,
I
there's
mean,
always
I don't
that.
want to
It's
stop
tough.
your
No, it's
blessings.
tough.
No,
though.
it is. It's tough.
It's really
in
difficult.
I think in my mind is one of the toughest professions out
One of
there.
them.
I
You
mean,
gotta
one
have
of
a
the
plan
toughest-
B.
You have to have a plan B, and that's
And
the way
I
it
feel a little
is.
ways about that sometimes
So-
because I think like if you have a plan B, you're gonna fall to your plan B,
Right.
especially when something gets really difficult. You're like, you know what? Why am I doing this? I have this plan B.
Right.
Let me do this. But he's really good and he's really talented and he has stuck to it and thus came Manifest on NBC, one of the top networks in the world. You know what I mean? And here we are acting across from each other, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, and our scene was
It's a
very
pleasure
emotional.
to have you on. I could talk.
I don't
all
want to be
day
on a
long.
flight with you,
But it's a pleasure.
but I want to watch all your stuff.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Thank you
Curtis.
so
All the
much,
best.
Curtis.
God bless, man.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Joining us via Skype from Paris is Simon Kassianides from USA Network's new series, Pearson. Simon plays Nick D'Amato, who's a mysterious tough guy with major ties to the mayor and Chicago's biggest developer.
I love a great political drama. Plus, the show stars Gina Torres reprising her role of Jessica Pearson as the Fixer. Simon, tell us a little bit more about the show.
We're very excited too. We have taken on the mantle of Suits, the spin-off, obviously, to
Yes.
Suits. And we start right at the gates. Very proud of the storytelling. If you haven't watched Suits, that's not a major issue. If you have, you'll be seeing Jessica Pearson in a whole new light. She is showing us her vulnerable side. She comes from Chicago, so we get to meet her family, and we get to meet all the characters, like myself, that surround her in that city, and all of the potential secrets that are revealed in season 1.
So Simon, tell us a little bit about Nick D'Amato, your character.
So I play a Chicago cop called Nick D'Amato. My accent is exactly the same as it is now. I basically am the mayor's half-brother, bastard half-brother, who isn't recognized by him. And it's kind of an open secret, but not many people outside of, City Hall know about that. And I get close to Jessica Pearson, who I see as a threat and who everybody sees as a threat to the status quo. And obviously there's a big secret amongst us that I am very eager to protect. And so I decide to get closer to her and become her driver. So I'm the head of security for the mayor of Chicago, and I'm a police officer, and I have a lot of troubling secrets which weigh heavily on my mind, and we see how that unfolds in season 1.
Well, you have the best accent in Chicago if you're keeping that accent for Nick. Tell us a little bit about Gina Torres, though.
I'm very lucky to call her a friend, and seeing how she's grasped this show and what she's driven forward and made sure the level of quality. She's an inspiring person. So everyone turns up game ready. We are all on a group text thread, the cast. So we're all close and inspired to give our best work. And I honestly believe, having worked in many things over the years, that it is top down. And, we couldn't be led by someone better than her. And I hear that a lot. A lot of actors tend to gush about their co-stars. But I'm very proud to say that she's the real deal, and she dresses just as well as Jessica Pearson.
Wow.
So over the years, you've played a lot of roles. Which one stands out the most to you?
Well, the one that is, I think, the one that always gets me excited, and I pinch myself when I think about it, is being in James Bond. I think growing up and having that in my life was just exceptional. I think growing up as a fan of cinema and then finding myself on set and then being opposite another actor performing a scene, and then halfway through that scene you realize, wow, that's James Bond. that was a real pinch myself moment in my career. Obviously being part of the Marvel, the MCU, the Marvel universe, was incredible, because I took a character that wasn't going to be a big character at all, but inspired them to write and create Bakshi into something that was bigger, something I'm very proud of, and I've made some great friends for life. And this particular role is wonderful. It's everything that I've wanted. It's very challenging, very nuanced, mysterious, but with a lot of heart. And I'm being introduced to such a great platform of fans.
A little birdie told me, Simon, that you were spotted as a barista or something happened.
Yes.
Can you elaborate a little bit for me?
I left finance to open a fair trade organic coffee shop with family in southwest London.
Wow.
And was working behind the bar. My mother's a cinephile, would go to the movies and still does every week. And this man came in called Piers Vellicott, who I'm still very good friends with. And he was a producer, and we got talking. He was very inspired by how much I knew about the movies, more than him, and I'll tell him that to this day. and he said, look, have you ever been on a film set? And I said, no. He said, well, you make teas and coffees here. Why don't you make teas and coffees with me on set one day? And I really, really stood out, because I think a lot of my colleagues at the time that were also cleaning toilets and literally doing all the menial tasks were graduates from within that field of work. I came to it from finance, so I was holding scripts and seeing actors performing and I was this wide-eyed, excitable puppy of a guy, and it led to me becoming a set assistant, then an assistant director, which I did for 2-3 years. And then I took a friend's wife along to a casting and was spotted during taking my friend's wife to this casting. And it led me to having a kind of featured extras role, during which I thought, well, let me try and get into drama school, which I did. I tried to get into drama school, and then I did. And then I was spotted again. And then the next thing I know, I was on stage with Woody Harrelson.
Wow, that's amazing.
Your mom must be proud.
Yeah. Simon, unfortunately, we're out of time, but I want to thank you for being on the show, and all the best to you on the series Pearson, okay?
So excited
My
for Pearson.
absolute pleasure. I'm very glad to have given you so much in so little time.
All right.
Thank
you.
you.
Take care. Okay, stay with us. We'll be right back after the break.
Welcome back. Planning those daily meals can be quite the task. Earlier this week, Eraldo met up with physician assistant Jessica DeLuise to show how you can make easy, healthy, delicious meals the whole family will love. As most of you know, Eraldo is a certified fitness trainer, so he's all about eating healthy.
Okay, Jess, thanks for being here. What do we have here?
Okay, so when you're trying to incorporate whole food, nutritious options,
Yes.
VeeTee rice is a lifesaver for me in my kitchen. I'm gonna share with you a little bit about this. You pop it in the microwave for 2 minutes, and it is perfect every time.
Every single time, right?
I have a hard time cooking rice, so this has been amazing for me.
Right.
And it's very nutritious, right? It's gluten-free, it's
Right.
non-GMO.
Oh, wow.
I want to
That's
show
great.
you how I use it.
Please, let's go ahead and let's start over here.
Yes, so for breakfast, instead of a very processed cereal, for example,
Right.
with artificial colorings and
Yeah, right. Not
flavorings,
too much of that, right?
VeeTee rice doesn't have that. So
Okay.
you can actually make a whole grain rice bowl for breakfast.
Wow.
I love that.
I love that too.
Yeah, so just fresh strawberries. You can even use frozen if you wanted to.
Right.
Bananas if you
Right.
want to.
Put some
Help me
bananas
out
in
here.
there. Of
Some
course.
cinnamon.
Yeah,
Oh
put
yeah,
some cinnamon.
I'll get all yuckies with these bananas. Some cinnamon, so that's gonna balance our blood glucose, right? So a nice whole grain to fuel our morning. Chia seeds for some protein and fiber.
Chia. Love that.
Chia. That's where
I
that comes
love
from, the same
that.
thing. Anyway, so that's an easy way to incorporate something that you, it's a
Nutritious,
pantry
healthy, absolutely.
Pantry staple, exactly. And then, yeah, so incorporating it, instead of a processed pasta or couscous,
Right.
you can actually swap VeeTee rice in a salad type
Right.
situation. So this is a Mediterranean salad.
It looks delicious. My God, that looks great.
This is a one bowl kind of recipe. You just throw all of your colorful ingredients, boost that antioxidant content, the nutrition content, and make a rice. You can make this ahead of time,
Right.
pack it for lunch, or I think all the kids even would like this for dinner.
Right,
Think
you
about
can
that.
put all these things in there too, right?
You can put all those things, yeah, so cucumbers, red onion, Kalamata olives.
So it's also plant-based for vegans, right?
So it's plant-based for vegans, exactly. So yeah, you can swap this in. You can make stuffed peppers as a full
Right.
meal if you wanted to
Right.
with this rice.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
I
That
love
looks
it.
delicious.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much for being
Thanks,
Jessica.
Eraldo.
Okay, guys, back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Eraldo and Jessica. The dishes look incredible. Plus, it's great to know that VeeTee rice is entirely plant-based, so you can just omit the chicken to make the salad a delicious vegan dish. For more wonderful recipes, go to VeeTee.com. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We're back. Joining us is Daryn Prince, the CEO of Prince Marketing Group and the author of the best-selling, incredible book, Aiming High.
Aiming High is about Darren's 23 years of addiction to opioids while working as an agent promoting some of the most iconic figures of our time. In fact, your client and dear friend, Magic Johnson, wrote the foreword to your book. So Daryn, please share with us your story, and congratulations on having just celebrated 11 years of sobriety. That's
Congratulations.
amazing story. Congratulations.
Thank you guys for having me.
Really appreciate you being here.
So tell us, how did your addiction started?
At 14 years old, I was in sleepaway camp. I had horrible stomach pains one night, and thinking nothing of it, I said to the counselor, I need to go to the infirmary, and she gave me this green liquid in a clear cough syrup cup, and I took it. At the same time, I was very insecure, never felt a part of, always felt like an outcast, was in these special education classes growing up, always felt different. The green liquid went down, it tasted disgusting, but within 5 minutes, all those insecurities and inadequacies went away like that. And I got back to the bunk, I was the cool guy, the talkative one, the funny one, the good-looking one, Everything I wanted to be that I couldn't be on my own. I went to the bunk next door, flirted with the girls. I'm 14 years old, it's something I never did before. And I went to bed that night thinking nothing of it, but the very next night, lying in that bunk with no stomach pains, I thought about that feeling. I said to the counselor, man, my stomach is killing me, we gotta go back. And I did this for 3 straight weeks until my mom and dad came up on visitation day and found out I was taking liquid Demerol. So that was the end of that.
And what did your parents do? Did they
My mom
ground
obviously
you, or?
freaked out. She wanted to sue the camp at the time, but my dad just said, we'll let it go. And, thank God we caught it on time. But they didn't realize they didn't catch it on time because a few months later I had my wisdom teeth removed at a dentist appointment. And 1 in 3 kids nowadays that get prescription opiates from a dentist appointment become opiate addicts. I was one of the
1 in 3?
I was one of the 3. That same feeling came right back. My mom gave me 2 pills, like Superman. I'm on the phone with my boys, different girlfriends, socializing, the feeling of, I'm
Euphoria.
perfect. This is
Euphoria,
exactly who I need to be all the time. And 3 days later, the pills were out. Did the same thing. I go downstairs, I put on the crocodile tears. I go, Mom, my tooth is killing me. We've got to go back to the dentist. And as a loving mother who wants to see their son suffer in pain,
Of course.
she took me back. I do
course.
the same routine for the dentist. Wrote another prescription for 3-4 more days.
Oh my God. So how did you, when was the moment when you realized that something needed to be done and you needed a change, otherwise, or worse?
And how did you get there?
Right.
Well, we
How'd you
really
get
got to
sober?
fast forward to that because it took me quite some time. But I do, keynote speaking, I talk about this, that there was a large part of my life where it did work. It did allow me to be a networking machine within my industry.
Right.
But what was once living to use turned out to using to live. And now I was in a place worse than hell and didn't want to live anymore. Now, from the outside, everybody thought I had it all, the big super agent life, whatever they want to call it, the stars, the red carpets, the private jets, but I was miserable. And the moment of change came on July 2nd, 2008. What I thought was my worst day in my life turned out to be my best. My uncle and his then girlfriend were in the 12-step fellowship for recover addicts and alcoholics, and she never met me before. She looked at me, I was bloated, heavy, white as a ghost, sweating. She asked if I was okay. I told her, I said, no, I'm not. I opened up, told her everything. She's like, I'm in recovery. If you want help, I can get this for you. And it was like one of those God moments. And she's like, do you realize that it doesn't matter if you're from Park Avenue or Park Bench or Yale or jail?
100%.
Disease will take you to your knees and does not discriminate. And she put me on a detox plan, and 48 hours later, I had the gift of desperation, as I'd like to say. I called them up. I said, I can't do this. I'm calling the doctors. I'm getting what I really want to get. And my uncle said, this is the goddamn disease talking. You got to get to a 12-step meeting. Put your ego aside. Put your hand up. Tell these people you're sick, you're suffering. And I ran into the bathroom to take a non-narcotic anxiety pill to take the edge off. And 2 Vicodins fell out, which was one of the 3 opiates I was addicted to. Now, me and my then wife swore we cleaned out all the medicine cabinets.
Right.
And for a split second, it was like, what a gift from God. I got what I need. But then on this side, I felt this burning sensation. I fell to my knees, crying, shaking, trembling, calling out to God. I said, I can't do it anymore. I'm begging you for your help. Whatever you can do. I take the money, the notoriety, the business. I don't care. I need a single day of freedom. And it wasn't me. I flushed the pills. And
you.
20 minutes later, I'm in a taxi, kept looking up at the sky saying, oh my God, for the first time in my life, I wanted to stay sober more than I wanted to get high. And that was the day it all changed. I walked into a church basement with 150 addicts and alcoholics that showed me this new way of life.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about the book. We have about a
Incredible
minute or
story.
so. I really want to get into the book. Give us some highlights, some tips, really brief on the book, if you may.
It was in this very city, 2002 in February, NBA All-Star Weekend, that I got a call from Lonnie Ali, Muhammad's wife, that they wanted to see if Joe was willing to come to Muhammad's suite
God.
to have dinner. And,
Casual. It happens to me all the time,
my
personally.
God.
But yeah.
But this was 6-7 years in the making. My dear friend
Yeah.
Harlan Warren was Muhammad's agent. He was unfortunately out of town in Vegas. I called him up. I said, what do I do? What do I do? You're not here. He goes, what do you do?
Yeah.
He goes, you go.
You do.
Don't worry.
You don't say no?
Just go.
Right.
And do. And so here is this tremendous opportunity that I knew, kings, queens, world leaders, whoever it is would have done anything to be in that room. But going back to those feelings I had at camp, because I never spoke up, because I never told anybody what I was going through, those deep-rooted insecurities and insecurities were still inside of me. Now, these 2 kings loved and respected me more than I ever knew how to respect and love myself.
Wow.
But an hour before, we went into Muhammad's suite. I was in my own hotel room, snorting Percocets and Vicodins
Oh my God.
because I
Wow.
couldn't do it. I couldn't be me, and I couldn't be present. And
But you made it happen.
You know?
You made the meeting happen. I read it was a tremendous meeting. It was an experience of a lifetime, and wow, that's just amazing.
And now you're helping so many people with aiming high.
Where can people get more information?
Official DarrenPrince.com, my website, and also I'm a representative for Banning Treatment Center, and we look to help anybody, whether you've got the funding or not. And they can call me directly at 888-6-DARREN, which is DARREN. And the message is it's about redemption, because I just told you guys about Ali and Frazier.
Right.
When they both passed away, I was right there at the memorial, their funeral, sober, spiritual, centered, in the moment, saw everybody that I grew up with all those years, and that's what it's about, that you can push the reset button on your life and start a brand new beginning.
Darren, you're a true inspiration.
Yes,
Seriously, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. All the best to you.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
All right, thanks to all of you at home for watching.
And remember, let's continue our conversation on social media. We look forward to hearing from you. Be sure to share with us topics and guests you would like to see on the show, and have a great weekend. Bye.
The preceding was sponsored by